Hello, people of the internet.
And welcome to a Pros and Cons special edition thing.
We thought we'd have a bit of a natter about the pros and cons of living in the countryside, and also the pros and cons of living in the countryside during this lockdown, this self-isolation thing. One of the, I don't know whether you call it a pro or a con, but the sheep.
Yeah, there are sheep. That's both, I think. Definitely both. Because in the middle of the night, when you think something's stuck, going ba, 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 and you get out of bed and you put your clothes on and you go downstairs and you go outside, ba, ba, you open the gate and it stops.
That's definitely a con, yes.
That's a con.
But they are kind of pretty to look at. And that's a pro for both. Well, it doesn't make any odds as to whether or not it's a lockdown or not. It's just... There are sheep.
There are sheep, and they're there, and there are lambs.
They do exist.
Yeah.
I can't. The stupid thing is, I can kind of see them through the hedge vaguely, but they're not close enough to be.
I assumed we'd do this with some sort of structure, but that's not how it's happening.
That's not going to happen. So basically, it's more of a discussion than anything else, really, rather than we're going to make a list and check it twice.
Yeah.
There's going to be no santering going on with this.
Santering?
Yeah, checking the list.
Oh, let's check it. No santering. Okay, right. You had to explain it.
Well, yeah, but it could be, a phrase that becomes part of the common lexicon. Okay. Probably not.
You can say so much with the look.
You can't you?
A pro for us, but a con for a lot of other people who come into the countryside, is the darkness. When it gets dark at night, there aren't any street lights.
No.
And we've had some people come up here. We thought they were quite hardened from military types, or should be hardened military types. But it gets dark and they're like, right, I've got to go right now.
Yes, it's scary.
Yeah.
It is funny. It does get really dark when we can just about see sort of some neighbours from the house if you sort of stand in the right room and hang out of a window a bit. But when they've got their lights off and it's dark, you really can't see a thing out there other than possibly stars. The stars look great.
Exactly. That's what I don't get, because in the city you can't look up and see the night sky very easily because it's all glowy.
I do remember reading something about there being a blackout in America quite a while back, and the number of people that were calling 911.
It was in LA.
It was in LA.
Because
they'd never seen the night sky. They'd never seen the Milky Way before. And so as a result, they panicked and thought that something terrible was coming out of the sky when actually it was just the Milky Way.
I mean, I say the skies are fantastic here quite a lot. Any time there's an astronomical event. Yep, astronomical, got that the right one. And any time there's an astronomical event, cloud.
Oh yeah, you can guarantee it.
So yeah, if you think, oh, you must be so lucky, you can see all these strange and wonderful phenomena that you only get to see once every 5 million years. No cloud.
Yeah, we sat and watched the Pleiades asteroid, meteorites a few years back. I can't remember where we were when we sat out and watched that.
No, I don't think I was with you.
Yeah, you were.
Was I?
Yeah.
It must have made such an impression.
Yeah, it does tend to be one of those things that you just don't care about.
I do care about it.
Ignoring all of that,
we
shall move on to the next thing. What is the next thing that makes isolation? That is the thing.
Yeah.
So, isolation-wise, we are isolated.
We are very isolated.
It's great for now, isn't it?
It is. It's wonderful for now
because we don't see anybody other than occasionally Ed, who will, the farmer.
Please talk to me.
Hello, I haven't spoken to anybody in ages.
But as an introvert, anytime I speak to anybody, I kind of get drained and have to go home and recuperate anyway, so I'm fine with that. A lot of people, I think, would struggle out here.
I suspect, a lot of people do seem to need the social interaction. It's funny, I don't miss people, strangely, but I mean I'm good at talking to people, but I'm also kind of quite. I'm finding it now, especially going out at the moment, it is actually quite a stressful thing to do. So you go and you wander around a supermarket and then you come home and you suddenly realise that actually it wasn't an awful lot of effort, but the stress that it puts on you is actually quite exhausting. So you come home and you sleep. which is weird.
Yeah, that is probably not right. But
Probably. I mean, I should
it's nice
imagine
to
that
have been places. It's the coming home that makes it.
it is very nice to come back to.
Yeah, I'm a hobbit in that respect.
You are.
Yeah.
But as far as the sort of self-isolation thing goes, we're not really changing a busting great deal of what we're doing. Normally, over the winter, we don't film very much because there's not a lot of light, and you know the days are short, and so you don't.
Everything we want to film, by the time we get to that thing, the light's gone. So
Yeah, you either have to travel through darkness in order to get to something that looks slightly dreary because of the fact that it's winter,
yeah,
or you wait until the summer and grab as much stuff as you can during the summer. So it's a bit like our winter regime of not going out very much, but there's sunshine here.
and relaxed.
Yeah,
We don't have to rush to go anywhere.
It is nice.
Yeah.
I know it sounds awful, and I've said it before, but I'm liking this.
The other thing, I suppose, a con and a pro in a way. When I was living in a city, you could kind of walk out and go anywhere, but you could go to a pub or to
Without having to get into a car.
or to a cinema or just like pop round to the local shop to get some milk or whatever. I mean, we do have like local shops and local pubs, but
It's still a drive.
You can't drink and drive.
No.
Wildlife.
Yeah, plenty of wildlife.
There's lots of wildlife outside and inside.
There is a lot of wildlife in the house. Yes, it
Especially in
does tend
springtime. All the birdie birds come and nest in around the eaves. Sometimes it's pigeons. Last year it was pigeons.
It's not just round the eaves. They're actually nesting in the attic.
Yeah, in the
Because
attic.
it's all a bit exposed up there. It is a very
Yes.
old building, and so there are lots and lots of holes for things to get in and out of, and it's
Yeah, so we're frequently woken up recently by jackdaws making eggs.
okay. Pigeons, we get some pigeons as well. We get squirrels up there. We get all sorts of stuff, and it's all
Yeah.
very scrabbly noises and
Yeah, lots of cawing.
yeah, bit of a racket. However, they are very pretty and what have you, so you can't really complain about that.
No, we don't.
One of the things
The only thing I will complain about is the flies.
yeah, that touch wood, this year hasn't been too bad for
So
flies.
far. Yeah, I think it's because we're on a
Um,
sheep farm, we get more flies.
We
but-
do, yeah. When we first moved here, the house hadn't been lived in for about a year, so we had an awful lot of flies that first year. In fact, the day we moved in, there was a blind hanging in our bedroom, and I stupidly unravelled it, thinking, oh, they don't have to worry about curtains tonight. Oh, hang on a minute, it was full of thousands of flies. It was horrendous. I stood in that room with a vacuum cleaner and just hoovered them out of the air, and it took an hour.
I was unpacking downstairs
Yeah,
and I could hear the hoover going and it was
it's
nearly bedtime.
awful.
Yeah.
Absolutely awful. Anyway, so
I
that's fortunately that doesn't seem to be anywhere near as bad as it was, which is good.
We seem to be evicting them quite nicely.
Yes, they seem to be going away, which
Yes,
is good.
that's good.
One of the things that you might sort of be intrigued to know is the finances of it all. There are certain things that are more expensive and certain things that are cheaper. We like to describe it as getting a lot of bang for your buck
Yeah.
because these old properties, there are quirks about them that some people just wouldn't put up with.
Uneven floors.
All sorts of things, funny electrics,
Yeah.
weird things with water, plumbing, all sorts of stuff, and bits dropping off the house, that
Gaps
sort
in
of
the
thing.
walls.
And so as a result, there are an awful lot of people that just turn their nose up at it and go, I'm not living in that sort of condition, which is fine. Or alternatively, they want to be near a Starbucks or something like that. And you're looking at a 25-minute drive to anything from here. Really, there isn't, there's nothing nearby. I mean, there's a village shop, which does look like it's straight out of the 1920s. I mean, it really does. And then there's a village pub, which does some very good food, and some very nice beer, and a bit of live music from time to time. And that's it. And of course, everything at the moment is sort of shut anyway, so you don't have any access to any of that. But if you can put up with that, what you do find is that you get an awful lot of floor space, if you like,
Yeah.
for a similar amount of money to what you would pay for a sort of a pocket handkerchief size.
Sometimes less. A lot of the place we looked into a city centre, and there were
Well,
places.
actually, we looked into the outskirts of a city.
Yeah, the outskirts of a city as
Um,
well. We looked at all sorts of places, and there were largely places that you couldn't put a double bed in.
Yes, there was a lot of that. There was also places you couldn't park. One of the beautiful things about this place is, there is absolutely shed loads of parking. And considering we only have one car, it's ideal for us. We can park the car far enough away from the house so that when bits drop off the house, it doesn't hit the car.
Yes.
Yeah, this we consider to be a big bonus.
Yeah, we woke up one morning because slates have a tendency of falling off the roof, and slates are about that big, probably about that much of it. It was embedded in the lawn.
Oh, it's horrendous.
Yeah, you want to watch out for that.
They are sort of terrifying things. But, so, if you're prepared to put up with all of the peculiar quirkiness and the things that live in the attic and what have you, and the fact that you'll, wander into the kitchen and there will be a mouse staring at you.
Quite brazenly as well.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, yeah, I've been in your food.
Yeah, I've been wandering through everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you're prepared to put up with that sort of thing, but I think if we were to be living in a city, there would be so many downsides to. I mean, one of the beautiful things about it is if we want to record sound, he said, having to speak over the noise of a sheep, we can actually sort of sit and record audio without having to worry too much about cars going past on the road outside.
Yeah.
Which is great. I mean, that really does make a massive difference because we don't have to spend thousands on soundproofing. It allows us to get on with what we want to do. There's plenty of room. We can both work editing wise or writing wise or anything like that in separate rooms so that we're not disturbing each other, which is good.
Yes, one of us gets evicted.
Yeah, but you're being evicted from one room into another room, both of which are nice rooms. So it's a win-win situation.
It works for us. A lot of people it wouldn't. I think.
Yeah. If your
Mm.
job is based sort of in a city or in a town, you would probably want to be closer to the city
the
or
commute
the town.
would be a bit.
Yeah, I mean it's adding at least, especially if you're commuting, you're probably adding an hour onto your journey wherever you're going. Or rather, your journey becomes an hour in the morning and then an hour in the afternoon, just simply because of traffic. There are other things. It took us quite a while to get things like our internet sorted out.
Yeah.
BT, which is the sort of the main provider of wired internet, the network around here is terrible. It is the cable that runs to our house is considered quite new because it's only 25 years old, which says a lot, doesn't it? So as a result, you get sort of, if you're really lucky, you can get 4 megabytes down and maybe about half a megabyte up.
Yeah.
That's wired. So we're very fortunate in the fact that there is a mobile mast not too far away. And that allows us, I think we're on 40 down and about 10 up, which isn't bad.
Yeah, we had to do an awful lot of troubleshooting to get that sorted.
Oh God, yeah.
Because otherwise about a 4-minute film would take us probably a day to put up. So we'd have to be quite organised in order to get things up.
Yeah, we were moving to sort of nearer the masts, because there are actually several masts near us. We just needed to end up on the right one.
Yeah, there were times when we had to drive into a town, find somewhere that had a better internet connection and upload that way.
That was really annoying. However, now we can put up a half-hour film, or the latest films that we've been putting up. The longest they've taken is about an hour and a half to go up, and that's a full 4K film. So that's not bad going.
Yeah.
So if you can put up with all of these sort of peculiar things, and if your work works.
Yeah.
In a place like this.
The only thing you'd have to bear in mind is, it doesn't bother me, but wearing nice clothes just to go out is a bit tricky, because you go out and you will get covered in mud because there are gates to do.
Oh,
so you have to work out things like footwear in advance. If you want to wear heels, forget it.
Yeah, just getting in and out of the car is.
You can't keep the car clean. You have to kind of.
We don't bother.
No, we don't.
It's
you
sort
have,
of it's
you
a
have
waste
to kind
of
of
time.
strain to make sure you don't get mud up the inside of your leg. But so I don't mind any of those things, which is why we're here.
I mean, we're not really sort of particularly social animals anyway. It's not like we're going out to, pubs and clubs and that sort of thing.
I'm not a clubby type person. Can you see me boogieing on down with it?
I used to work in nightclubs, so I hate them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Once you've been in one, you've been in them all.
Yeah, the thing to know about nightclubs is that they're sticky.
Yeah, that's my lasting impression. You stick to the floor.
Or anything, any surface in a nightclub is sticky. It doesn't matter whether it's a wall or a floor or even the ceilings are sticky in nightclubs. I can tell you this from personal experience.
How?
Because I touched a ceiling in a nightclub. I've touched several ceilings in nightclubs.
Yeah, with your sound engineering.
Yeah.
Thing background.
Yeah. So it's if it's in a nightclub, it's sticky. I don't know what the hell this stuff is. I mean, I think largely it's just. I think it's sweat. Most of it's.
Let's not think about it.
No, let's not. Let's move swiftly on.
Yes. So those are. I think most of the pros / cons. I think everything we've mentioned can be seen as either or. I mean, all those things you've mentioned we see as a pro, other than the kind of the mouse in the house. That's not really a pro. I can't really see any upsides to that, but it's not something that bothers us.
At least it's not rats.
Oh, you had to say it.
Where you get mice, you don't get rats.
Yes.
And vice versa, for some reason, apparently. According to the man,
I
who comes round and
each other, don't they?
I have no idea
Vicious
what it is. They probably do.
World.
I think basically it's if you've got rats, the mice don't survive. I can only assume that that's the case.
I don't know. I think because mice piddle on everything, maybe the rats.
No, I don't know. That doesn't seem right. Either way, answers on a postcard.
Yeah.
Send them to your MP or
leave them in the comments below.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Yes, comments.
Comments. That's what we have. Well, if you have any questions about what it's like living out here, then in the comments below, we'll try to answer them either in the comments or in maybe another video. Depending on how many there are.
Maybe we'll go and sit by the river next time.
Maybe, like we planned to.
Like we had planned to, rather than sitting up here on the top of a hill, which is very nice.
It is very nice. It would be a good picnic spot, but
it would be a good picnic spot.
Yeah.
We'll have to obviously come up here and flatten it all down.
Yeah, and remove the sheep poop.
Yeah, we're not going to do that.
No, we're not going to do that.
No.
There are plenty of other places.
There are.
That don't have sheep poop.
Let us hope so.
Yeah.
Anyway, we obviously are desperately in need of a cup of coffee now, so we're going to head back to the house.
Yeah.
And
we'll see you next time.
TTFN.
Stay safe, stay sane.
Yeah. Stay inside.